Hey everybody, Sean here with the VA Media Group. In this video is going to be the unboxing to easily the best single device ever manufactured, the Google Pixel. Today we're going to be unboxing the successor to this, the Google Pixel 2 XL. As you can see here, today is October 18th, 2017, and this has just arrived a little bit ago. It is one of the first ones to ship, I believe. So we'll go over the box real quick here. You see on the front of the box we see Google Pixel 2 XL, and it has obviously the picture of the phone on the back. On the right side of the box we have the right profile shot. On the left you can see Google Assistant built in with Assistant. On the back we have hashtag Team Pixel and the Google logo, and the box is just some additional information. This particular unit is the 64GB just black Google Pixel 2 XL. It is the unlocked variety, as I will be using it on T-Mobile. Additionally, in the shipping box it did come with a guide on using Project Fi, which tells you how to do it. I believe since the Pixel 2 XL is the first smartphone to support the eSIM standard rather than nano SIM or anything of that nature, this is the only carrier that will allow you to actually use the eSIM. This will be used on T-Mobile, so I'll be worrying about that. So we'll go ahead and begin to open the tape. So now we will go ahead and open it up. Alright, there it is. Initially upon opening it, we can see that it is back down first. Pick it up. Feels nice in the hand through the plastic, but we will put this off to the side. Next we have this plastic tray, which is what the phone was sitting in. Here we have, yay, welcome to hashtag Team Pixel, even though, as we know, I was already in said team. So we'll pick this up, open it up. It's got the SIM removal tool, a get started guide, and a be safe guide. Put that off to the side also. Here we have a USB-A to USB-C OTG cable, which can be used for transferring data from another phone to your new Pixel. Lift that, we have the USB-C to C cable for charging. It is all white, looks very nice. And here we of course have the USB-C to 3.5mm headphone jack dongle. And here we have your charging brick, let's see. Nothing else in there. This is of course the American version. This appears to be 5 volts 3 amps, which is 15 watts, or 9 volts 2 amps, which is 18 watts. So there we go there, it's got a little plastic wrap on it, but I will leave that there. And now we will take it out of its packaging here and compare it to the first generation Pixel XL. So here we go. On the front of the package here, it does say, "Hi, how can I help?" And then it says it in French. This is of course the Google Assistant advertisement. We'll go ahead and peel this here. This looks super nice right off the bat. This definitely does not feel like plastic. It's not the raw aluminum that this was, but it's definitely a very soft touch, quality feeling material. You can see the screen has some nice curved edges there on this 3D glass. They do have the dual front firing speaker, something I missed very much this last year. You can see the window on the back is still there. Fingerprint sensor is still there. The back does feel very nice, and the Google logo just embossed down there. On the top we have what appears to be a little microphone, and on the bottom we have our USB-C port. We'll go ahead and fire this up. Right off the bat, this is a good sign. I know a lot of people have been saying some things about the screen on this and whatnot, but every phone that I've gotten recently in the past has had just a horrible off-color screen that you can just tell right off from the beginning. This is not one of them. So it is booting now. Once it boots, we'll go ahead and do some further comparisons. Alright, so we see we have the balloons there. And there it is. It says hi there. It's got the vision settings and start. We'll go ahead and just keep that on the lock screen right now. Now we'll just do a little comparison here. You see side by side, they do look very similar until you power on the screen. Then you can see the bezel on this really shines, whereas the screen on this really shines. And then on the back, we do have a similar design. I definitely enjoy this darker colored black than the black on the first Pixel. And I think it looks good with the window up here shrunk, even though I like the original design. I think this is overall just much better. There is a very slight camera hump now, but it's really hard to show on camera, but it is super minimal. Obviously that should also help with the lens flare that Google failed to fix with math on the first Pixel. And there we go. That is the initial unboxing, and we will come back later for a little bit of a follow-up. Okay, so as I mentioned in the unboxing, I was going to do a small follow-up on the Pixel 2 XL. Overall, I have absolutely loved using this phone for the past couple days. It is currently October 21st, so it's been 3 days since I did the unboxing, so it's been 3 days with this phone. Just a couple of pointers. The fingerprint sensor is super fast. It's really hard to show on camera, obviously, but it's like it's unlocked the moment you touch it. It's a lot faster than the Nexus 6P and Pixel XL that I had before. The back material does not feel cheap at all. I know some people saying it feels like plastic. Maybe the black and white one will feel cheaper, or the kind of blue color in the regular size Pixel will feel cheaper, but this definitely does not feel like plastic. It feels almost like a stone. It's definitely a good feeling. The front firing speakers on this, I'm not even going to try to show you as it will do no justice, but it makes me wonder how I possibly survived with the Pixel XL for the past year, which obviously has a single bottom firing speaker, if you even want to call it a speaker. It was quite honestly a joke. Overall though, it's really nice. I know there had been some complaints about the display and whatnot, so I do have these open here. Let's see. I will say there is a color shift, so if you take it and you tilt it, it does look blue, but honestly it looks a lot more intense on camera than it does in person. It does change in person, but not nearly as much as it shows on camera, and besides that, you're not often just staring at a white screen. So we'll say I'll open an app here. I mean, it really doesn't make way too much of a difference, and again, even though the difference it does make is even less so in person than it is on camera. I know there's also some people who have, since this apparently has the same display as the V30, have tried the thing with the gray screen at minimum brightness. There's no crazy unevenness like what the V30 has. So here we are in a much darker room. It is really hard to get the camera to actually work on this, but you can kind of see there is really no unevenness or anything at all. You can kind of see a little of the refresh rate on camera though, but there's no blotchiness, no line spots, uneven colors, anything. It's a very uniform display. I believe a lot of the complaints with the display are just that Google has kind of forced sRGB mode on. They can't be turned off. Even vivid mode in the settings really only boosts saturation by like 10%. So I really don't like that, but it really doesn't bother me. I'm just happy to have a very uniform display, since I've tended to have bad luck with OLED displays in the past. But overall, it is a decent display. I don't notice any of the grainy issues that people say. I mean, if you get like super close in certain lighting, maybe you can pick it out, but it's really nothing that I've even come close to noticing in person. There's other neat features like Active Edge, which allows you to obviously speak to Google Assistant by squeezing it, which does work through both cases that I've used. Of course, the Active Edge does work with a case just as easily. It's really not a difficult thing to do. I can't really hold it with 2 fingers, but if you just squeeze it with 2 fingers, it still works. It's definitely a useful feature. I don't think it was super necessary, but it's cool that it's there. I don't really wish I could reprogram it or anything. I do use Google Assistant a lot on both this and my Google Home. Speaking of cases, in the beginning, I did use this Caseology case for like just like $7 that I got on Amazon because it was one of the first cases available and there was a good deal on it on Slick Deals. This is by far one of the worst cases I've used on any phone ever in my life. And I would actually recommend that you do not use this case and find literally any case other than this one. Luckily, I only had to use this for a few days before my spec Presidio grip came, which is the same version of the case that I had on my Pixel XL, and it is like a perfect case. It still lets you use the active edge, everything. It really doesn't even affect the squeeze, the amount of squeeze you need for the active edge or anything. It's a really nice case. I haven't had a crazy amount of times to test the camera, but I will say that portrait mode does seem to work pretty well, especially with the back camera due to the dual sensors. Front firing portrait modes are definitely pretty good also. Of course, since there's no depth information, the background is uniformly blurred, whereas if you take a picture with the back camera, it adjusts the blur based on depth, as it has a little bit of depth information to work with. But overall, it's definitely a very good camera, and it definitely deserves its highest rating score. Video definitely looks good too, and overall, it's easily the best phone you can buy right now, as long as you're okay with, at least for now, relatively dull colors on the screen. I will add one more detail. This phone obviously does support always on display, but I disabled that as soon as I got it, as I think that's kind of a dumb feature, whether it's on this phone or any other Android phone. It just really, I don't find the use in it, especially because I'm usually wearing a smartwatch. So overall, that's that. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.